Hey, what's up, Alan? I'm here with Shad. How's it going, dude?
Good, man. How are
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
To our new building.
Yeah, it's nice.
Right off the bat, I first heard about you through Russell Peters.
Oh, cool.
I was recording a request, and he was like, he picked Shad, and it was the old Prince.
Nice.
So, are you aware that Russell Peters is a fan of yours?
Yeah, and it was rad. Like, that's it's a huge honor for sure. Yeah, I was very excited to hear that. Yeah, it's cool.
Will you guys ever collaborate or tour, do you think? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool. It'd be cool just to, to hang out for half an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we spoke once on the phone really briefly, and he was very kind. He was like, hey, I love what you're doing and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was dope.
Well, he's a big fan of hip-hop.
Yeah,
so,
he is. Yeah, he DJs and yeah.
And it was before, like, that song really blew up.
Cool.
So he was, you know what I mean, he knew that you were on the radar before, I guess, a lot of other people did, you know what I mean? But that song, and we'll get to the new album, but that video, The Fresh Prince, I should show you this because I'm a super...
Okay, nice.
That's
nice.
You can film that right there.
Nice.
That's my phone. I'm a huge Fresh Prince fan, and you did that video so well. Did you have to ask for any sort of rights or?
If we had to, I don't know, but we didn't.
Good answer.
Yeah. I don't know, but we had a blast shooting it, and the directors and the production team did an amazing job. I basically just showed up, and they would have one screen of what we're about to shoot and one screen of the sort of 20 seconds of the intro that we're about to ape, and then I'd sort of study it and get the head motion.
Yeah, it was close, man.
Do it.
I mean, even the sets, everything. You know what I mean?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, they did an amazing job. The sets, the fonts, everything.
So was that your idea? Like, are you a big Will Smith guy?
I'm a fan like everybody else is, but
great show.
Yeah, but no, the directors came up with the idea, and I was like, yeah, if you guys can pull it off, let's do it. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So now you got the new record,
Mm-hmm.
and the first single, yeah, I get it. I got like a sort of my initial reaction. I didn't expect that to be the sound that I was going to get, but it was like, a really big produced sort of Jay-Z, like, I'm back, you know what I mean, type song. Were you going for that with that?
Well, really, I just kind of heard the beat, and I was like, yeah, this is dope. And then just started writing, and it just kind of became one of those things where I was just sort of in like a kind of playful kind of zone of just like writing, just kind of nonstop, which is not unlike the old Prince Still Lives at Home. Like, there's no breaks. It just kind of just keeps going. There's no choruses or anything. So it was a lot of fun. That song was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do live, and
well, one of the things I noticed right off the bat on the new record is you call for there to be more women in rap. Explain yourself. Explain that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole like idea behind that song kind of came from just thinking about hip hop and the fact that like it's fun and I love it, but it's definitely like a dude to dude kind of conversation. Like when I write, I have a male audience in mind, and when I'm at a show, it's predominantly male audiences. But every once in a while, you see like a few girls in there, and you're like, I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder how they're like engaging with the music, And I wonder if the future of hip hop like includes more women in it, or a female voice or something. Hopefully, because I think that would be a cool thing for the music, just like pushing boundaries, just like everybody's pushing boundaries in so many ways in hip hop, but that's one boundary in hip hop that hasn't been really pushed for some reason. Yeah,
it's interesting because right away when I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of right. Like I was trying to rattle off female rappers, and I was like, there's not that many really. I mean, you could go Lil' Kim, you could go Lauryn Hill, but that's a little. Like, I don't even know if she's still...
Yeah, that's getting back like 15 years almost,
I mean, maybe MIA, but she's sort of on a different...
Mm-hmm.
So, good question.
Word.
One of the things I liked about the record, too, is like the beats. I mean, there's a lot of great production. Who produced the record?
A range of guys contributed to it. My own DJ, Tilo, that I play with live. Classified did a track. Rick Notes did a couple, a whole range of guys. Yeah.
And you mentioned on the album as well that you don't like being referred to, I guess, as a Canadian rap sensation.
Yeah. That's been misunderstood a little bit. The Canadian part is neither here nor there, but the whole I don't know. Like sometimes it gives the impression of a sort of lifestyle that I definitely don't have, and that was kind of the point I was getting across with that line,
which is.
Ostentatious, rich, for lack of a better term, yeah.
I mean, do you think that there's a stigma when it comes to Canadian hip hop? I've asked a lot of different artists that.
Not really, and I think that's actually the best thing about Canadian hip hop is that there is no stigma about it. You know, you have Drake being successful, you also have Kanon being successful. Yeah. So there's such a wide spectrum of hip hop artists in Canada that I think probably the best thing about Canadian hip hop is that if you look at the range of successful hip hop artists, artistically is massive. You know, from a Drake to a Chaos to a Kanon, Cadence Weapon. You know, Cardinal. Like, it's just decisive. It's just like everybody's doing their own thing, which is very cool.
Has that, like, you've been in the scene for a long time, is that something that you saw gradually happen, or has it always just been like that?
Yeah, I think that's sort of emerged, yeah. I think it's always sort of been there, but now with artists sort of having a larger platform, it just becomes more obvious, just becomes more clear. Yeah. The differences between all these artists that are successful, it just becomes that much more pronounced now that they're all, you know, even more successful.
One thing I have to ask you is you're playing Scene Fest on the weekend.
Yeah.
And you're totally bringing a hip-hop presence to that festival. Is that why you decided to do the festival, or?
You know, for me, it's always been a thing of, like, you know, if someone invites me to play a festival, I'm kind of like, okay, I trust you that if you want me to play it, that this is going to work out, you know? With whatever audience happens to be there. So it's been cool, you know, with things like Scene Fest. We did Warped Tour last summer. Yeah. You know, I've played a bunch of folk festivals and stuff too, and just to see, like, these are people that just happen to enjoy music, and I get up there and I do my thing. You know, I don't switch up what I do, and people take to it. It's cool.
St. Catharines, have you been out there before?
Yeah,
you're from London, right?
Yeah, I've been there. I did Scene Fest once at least, or maybe twice. And I played a couple club shows there, yeah.
Sweet. And now you were on Warped Tour. Now, Warped Tour is typically a punk festival. Yeah. Maybe not so much now. Yeah. But what was it like, you know, playing with all those bands? Are you a fan of punk rock?
To be honest, like, that was one scene that I kind of knew nothing about. Like, I listened to a lot of different kinds of music, but that was one scene I was like, I don't know. Like, I'll be at lunch sitting down with some guy, we're just talking, and you know, then I see him on the main stage later, and it's like, I had no idea. I don't know what that band is. I didn't know that they had 8,000 fans, screaming fans in the city. It's like that's actually a scene that I knew very little about. And like you said, it's not even that much punk rock anymore. So it's like new styles of music that have come out in the last year or two that that someone like myself would hardly be aware of. Yeah. You know, just because I'm not in that scene at all, and it's so new. So yeah, so that was an interesting tour for that, because most of the bands like, hey, I know you, like we toured together, or I've seen your band or whatever, and you know, for us it was just like, I don't know any, and likewise they had no idea who I was, but it was like, you know, this is a whole different world.
Well, I mean, there were a couple of heavyweights. Like you were on a really good year because you were on that 15-year anniversary of Warped, right? So there was like No Effects, there was Bad Religion. Yeah. I mean, there were some solid bands. Yeah. And I remember I wanted to interview you there, and I don't know what happened. I couldn't find you, but Alexis on Fire brought you up in some way. You were on their bus or something?
We were sharing a bus the whole tour.
Okay, yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was great to hang out with them.
Now, were you down with those dudes before, or were they just like, oh, you're Canadian?
Yeah, well, we didn't know each other. We didn't really know each other. But, like, you know, you had mutual friends. You know, we're from the same area and everything. So a lot of mutual friends, like, in terms of, like, their management or whatever, and my management and that kind of thing. So yeah, so it just like turned out that it worked out well for us to share a bus, and I got along great with them, and like they're all just like funny, down to earth guys. Like it was great. That was one of the highlights for sure.